Hello everybody, welcome to my composition and writing program presentation. My presentation is over Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, IPFW, which is now changed to Purdue, Fort Wayne, PFW since I graduated. And IU is where I got my undergrad and graduate degree in English. The writing program at PFW has 3 courses available for first-year incoming freshmen. English W129, Principles of Composition, English W131, Elementary Composition, and English W233, Intermediate Expository Writing. The materials I found on the PFW website were dated 2007, respectively. And I attended W129 and W131 in 2011 and 2012 when I started my undergrad. And I prepared courses to be taught in 2019 and 2020, which is a little bit more relevant. But all of the materials were very similar as the 2007 materials, even though it has been many years. I graduated in 2020 online during the pandemic, and as we know, things may be different now because of the pandemic. W129 is for first-year students who may be uncomfortable with writing and unfamiliar with academic writing and does not count toward your degree. W129 is a beginner class leading up to W131 and takes 2 semesters to complete both W129 and W131 and to gain credit toward a degree. The course theme listed in the syllabus is Transition from High School to College. There are 4 papers required with in-class writings and leading a discussion. Paper 1 is a narrative worth 15% of your grade. Paper 2 is an argument worth 20%. Paper 3 is a research paper worth 20%. Paper 4 is a writer's reflection worth 15%. And then you have the in-class writing homework worth 20% and leading a discussion worth 10% of your grade. Outcomes listed in the syllabus for W129 are rhetorical knowledge, meaning students should be able to focus on a purpose, define a thesis, respond to needs of different audiences, adapt a stance toward a topic, and write in several genres. Number 2 is critical thinking, reading, and writing, meaning students should be able to use reading and writing for inquiry, learning, and thinking, and be able to paraphrase and summarize the work of others to generate their own ideas. Number 3 is process, meaning students should be able to use multiple drafts to finish a text. Develop flexible strategies for generating, revising, and editing to engage in the process of writing to demonstrate they understand collaborative and social aspects of the writing process, as well as learn to critique their own and others' writing while using various technology. Number 4 is knowledge of conventions, meaning students should be able to demonstrate and recognize common formats for different genres and practice correct grammatical functions in writing. W129 syllabus only has 3 course goals listed. Number 1, read critically and write clearly and persuasively in various rhetorical contexts. Number 2, apply methods of inquiry appropriate to various rhetorical contexts. And number 3, demonstrate critical thinking through the interrelated activities of reading and writing. W131 is for first-year students who have had some regular practice reading and writing with various texts and have most likely just finished high school. There were 3 syllabi listed on the PFW website, and all 3 were similar. There are 5 major assignments of a literacy profile worth 10% of your grade, rhetorical analysis worth 10%, an annotated bibliography included with the exploratory essay worth 20%, the problem-solving argument essay worth 20%, and a reflective essay worth 5% of your grade. But then if you read on through the syllabus, there are several other assignments, including 18 in-class exercises worth 18% of your grade, a midterm exam worth 5%, and an in-class essay worth 2%, and a final portfolio project worth 10% of your grade. One syllabus names course outcomes and the other chose course goals, but all were exactly the same as outcomes for W129 except for an added enjoyment of writing and exploration. In W233, it is for first-year students who have basic academic writing skills and need to brush up on research methods. The syllabus states the course is based on a 3-point movement of development of research questions or research proposal. Number 2, a review of existing research which leads to identification of a gap. And number 3, conducting research which may lead to answers to the research question. W233 requires 22 to 30 pages of final polished writing and lists 2 required assignments of an academic research paper and the annotated bibliography. Course outcomes for W233 are very similar to W129 and W131. Under the category outcomes of rhetorical knowledge, the only difference is the student's needs to define appropriate hypothesis. And the only other difference is under the critical thinking, reading, and writing outcome, where students should be able to define appropriate research questions, pose a hypothesis, and explore the hypothesis through primary and secondary research. Demonstrate that they understand the relationships among language, knowledge, and power by synthesizing related sets of texts on a well-defined topic. W129 and W131 are taught by GAs, or TAs, teaching assistants at PFW, and faculty members, as they are the primary courses for placements of first-year students. W233 is usually taught by faculty of PFW, as it is a more intense course. So here is where I get a little evaluative in my presentation. GAs have to take English C505, Teaching Composition, and C506, Practicum in Teaching Composition, which are very similar to English 600 and English 605 that we take here at Ball State. But Ball State goes above and beyond to teach empathy, kindness, and acceptance where IPFW did not. PFW is very strict compared to Ball State, as I have had my grade docked for missing the allowed 3 to 4 classes out of, 30, 32-ish classes a semester. And that is even with doctor's notes for every absence. They didn't care. The process for GAs at PFW is very similar to Ball State, as there are observations of GAs by faculty also. The PFW website provides a page of writing program pedagogy that has 4 tabs listed. The first tab is curricular assumptions. There are paragraphs on the writing process that explain how students need to learn to be flexible and adaptive, giving students time to manage their writing assignments, that students need to assess their own work, and students must learn to reflect their own writing. Language is a fundamental human activity, and reading and writing are related and crucial. The next tab is responding to students' writing to nurture students' growth instead of showing our academic superiority. The third tab is responding to drafts and speaks about giving overall feedback and skipping the grammatical errors so as not to make the student feel defeated, but trigger the student to think for themselves. The last tab is assessing student work and gives me the most feels. It says, and I quote, "Students' grades should be lowered for poor attendance, for late papers, and frequent tardiness." This is where I learned I wanted to be a more empathetic teacher. So I give PFW credit where credit is due. I think it is ridiculous to lower a student's grade for any of the things listed above. A student should be graded on their submitted work. I could go on and on about this, but that is a different presentation. The Assessing Student Work tab also discusses student self-assessment and peer assessment, and mechanics of response that speak about the importance of student self-reflection and that we are able to respond to students in many ways other than pen and paper now. Thank you, everybody.